Introducing Be Heavenly, where nature meets purity. Our 100% natural virgin cold-pressed oils are a blend of goodness and flavor. From coconut to sunflower, groundnut to sesame, safflower to mustard, we've got your culinary needs covered. Elevate your dishes with the essence of nature. Be Heavenly. Taste the difference today.
Hello and welcome to Dr. VGP Talk Show. Hello and welcome to Dr. VGP Talk Show that reaches 42 million households across the globe, including 2 million households across North America. Today, here we are in Telangana, a southern state of India, at the capital, Hyderabad city, which used to be the capital of the Nizam's kingdom pre-independence of India. And we are at the sprawling, magnificent new Telangana Secretariat built recently. Our guest in this episode of Dr. VGP Talk Show is a phenomenal bureaucrat, a bureaucrat who has the unique achievement, I would say, rather than accomplishment, for being in the same post for the last 10 years and beyond. A bureaucrat who has broken the ceiling, a bureaucrat from the Indian Administrative Service, the IAS cadre, which is the backbone of the civil service of the India's federal and state bureaucracy. A distinguished IAS officer who heads industries, Information Technology, Electronics and Communication Department as the Additional Chief Secretary. A person who has made it his mission in life to promote, prosper and propagate Telangana state on the global business map. Meet Mr. Jayesh Ranjan Ias, the Additional Chief Secretary, who has been in this position as the head of the industries, investment, promotion, the government of Telangana, state government, including the Information Technology, Electronics and Communication. A no-nonsense officer whose action speaks louder than words. You're going to listen to the magic of Jayesh Ranjan, how he is transforming Telangana and never satisfied and still wanting to do more and bring more investments to the state of Telangana. Today, Jayesh Ranjan is a household name not only in India but even in America for his tenacity, for his resilience and for his passion in bringing development, progress and investment into the state of Telangana. He has been through several governments and today he is under the Congress Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, who is creating waves across the country. But it's the same steadfast Jayesh Ranjan who knows the Google CEO, knows the Microsoft CEO, and who prides himself when he tells the story of how Hyderabad and Telangana state is the crown jewel of India where it comes for industries, investment and promotion. Do not miss this enlightening episode. There's so much to learn from this officer, his leadership style, his open door policy, his transparency and his micromanagement, which makes Telangana state a heaven for investors and promoting industries. Most of the Fortune 500 companies have their offices in Hyderabad, and he'll proudly tell you in this exclusive interview to the Global Eye News Weekly Magazine and at the Dr. VGP Talk Show that Microsoft and Google, the premier corporates, giants of America, apart from USA, the largest number of persons, the largest number of offices are in Hyderabad, India. Do not miss this enlightening episode. It's releasing this Saturday, July 20th. Share it with your friends. Celebrate life and share the pride as you sit back and see how this meticulous Jayesh Ranjan, the IAS officer, Additional Chief Secretary in the state government of Telangana, who is going to talk about the story of Telangana's progress for prosperity. Hello and welcome to Dr. VGP TALK SHOW that reaches 42 million households across the globe, including 35 million in India and 2 million in the United States of America. Our guest today is a very distinguished bureaucrat from the state of Telangana, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan. Welcome, sir, to the show. We're so happy for giving us time. And Mr. Jayesh Ranjan is a topper of the 1992 IAS batch. Sir, could you tell us, I know you were born and brought up in Patna, Bihar, something about your early education?
So I'm from Lucknow actually. I studied in Lucknow up to graduation, then did my masters in psychology from Delhi University, and then did my business administration studies in IIM Calcutta.
Wow.
While I was a student at the IIM, I could have potentially joined a corporate career. I was all set to join a corporate company. But at some point in time, I felt that a corporate life is not really that satisfying. I noticed in those days, particularly the company where I was supposed to join as an intern for summer placement, that there was lots of rat race and people were, their entire motivation was driven by very small goals, etc. So I felt that this is something which will not be very fulfilling for me. And at that late stage, I thought of what else can I do. And because I'm from the north, civil services is something which is very common. In my own family, there are civil servants. So I decided to appear in the civil services exams while being a student in Calcutta. I prepared for 1 year and also was attending my regular classes as a part of the management program. But I was very fortunate that I got through in the very first attempt. And as you rightly pointed out, I'm the topper of the 92 batch. I was allotted to at that time it was the combined state of Andhra Pradesh.
Yes.
Since the last 10 years, I'm in the new state of Telangana. And my journey has been very, very satisfactory. I have done very few assignments, which means that I've had long tenures long stints in each of the assignment. For instance, the current assignment that I'm handling, I'm close to completing 10 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's really incredible. But it also gives you the time and space to really do things which create an impact, do things in a sustainable way. Because many a times when you know that your tenures are very short, you just do things superficially, you are not really into the depths of anything, and then the results are also very suboptimal. So that is not the case that I have encountered personally, and at the end of completing more than 3 decades now, I feel very satisfied with what I have done. And 10 years of these 3 decades have been with the new state of Telangana. So when the new state was created, everything had to be built from scratch. So I feel very kind of satisfied that my services were utilized to promote Telangana as a good technology destination.
And you did a wonderful job in it. That's why we're here all the way from Chicago, sir, to interview you. You know, corporate loss has been the state of Telangana game. As you heard, the Special Chief Secretary for the government of Telangana, for the Information Technology, Electronics and Communication Industries Department. He's been there 10 years. Sir, you would believe it or not, you are a household name across America because the way you have transformed the state of Telangana to the most sought after destination in India for all the US American companies. And you are such a dynamic, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan is a focus driven, no nonsense IAS officer whose action speaks volumes and louder than words. Under your watchful leadership, Mr. Ranjan, you have cradled the administration that has won global applause. Could you tell us what are the strengths? I mean, you built, as you rightly pointed out, the Telangana industrial pathway from scratch. What are the greatest strengths today of Telangana?
Yes.
Today I read in the Hindu paper that Microsoft has acquired over 100 acres of land in your state, and they are doing the data center. So please go ahead, sir.
So it's like this. See, 10 years ago when we became a new state, I was in more or less in the same sector. I was looking after the industries sector then. The leadership at that time told us that let us create good policies which are very progressive, which are really out of the box. Coincidentally, the country also had a new government in 2014. We had a new Prime Minister at that time, Prime Minister Modi, who had also introduced some very path-breaking programs. One of his programs was called Make in India.
Yes.
And but having worked as the Chief Minister himself, he was aware that nothing will be made in India if reforms don't happen. I mean, slogans will not attract global companies and investments. And we were a new state at that time. So the leadership actually encouraged us. The Prime Minister is also talking about reforms. Let us carry out reforms which possibly people would not even have imagined that someone can really bring about. So we brought in very good policy, very progressive policy. See, hundreds and hundreds of good policies with good intent are prepared in India, but people typically comment that nothing happens thereafter. Good policies remain confined to paper. And if you really dive deep into the last 7 decades of India's history, why is it that with good intent, beautiful policies are written, but nothing happens on the ground? One of the reasons is that no one takes responsibility for implementing that policy. No one who is held accountable. So the government was very clear about this, that we must create institutions which will implement this policy. So you spoke about investments.
Yes.
So one of the first institutions which we created was called Invest Telangana. Of course, the national government has a similar structure which is called Invest India, but we decided to have a state-specific institution which is called Invest Telangana. So this is the second part. The first was to write a good policy so that the state's credibility is established. See, you live in the US, many of your viewers are in the US. Despite all these progress and changes, India is still in some ways considered to be a difficult country to do business because of historic experience, past experiences. So through the policy, we wanted to give that reassurance that while India might be same in some ways, but at least some parts of India, some states of India are far more progressive. They will give you things which you are only used to getting it in the best North American countries or the best European countries. Possibly we'll do even better than that. So a good policy was required. Institution like the Invest Telangana to implement that policy was required. But then there is a third thing also. Anyone can write a policy, anyone can create an institution on paper, but where is the talent to run those institutions?
Absolutely.
So what was very unique and special about Telangana was that 10 years ago, the leadership at that time had the vision and the foresight to believe that while there could be talent in the government, far better talent is available outside, and we should motivate them and encourage them to become a part of the government. So if you look at how the Invest Telangana cell has been structured, who are the people who work there?
I think that's become a role model for other states to follow.
So some of the best professional talent from the private sector, we have been able to bring them to the government, and they work with us, they chase after investments, they create a strong investment pitch. But more than anything else, again, there is something which is very important to establish your credibility. Are you walking the talk or not? See,
correct.
To attract investments, you can promise the moon.
Exactly.
But when they actually come to your state, are you delivering that moon to them or not? So our track record in the last 10 years is very solid on delivery. Whatever we promise, whatever we tell people is actually delivered on the ground.
That's excellent. You know, the Global Entrepreneurship Summit was held in 2017.
Yes.
I had happened to attend. I was part of the Secretary of State's delegation with Ivanka Trump.
Yes.
And there we saw firsthand of how you had handled it. And like you rightly pointed out, the Principal Secretary, then now the Special Chief Secretary of Industries, has delivered. And that's why it's made Telangana one of the most sought after destinations. Today we listen to how Telangana, with all its innovative initiatives, attracts the world to invest in your state. Tell us, what are the strengths, sir, of the Telangana state?
So I would point to 6 strengths. Not to say that these strengths are lacking in other states, but if you look at the totality of the picture, we are very uniquely positioned. Some state may have this strength, some state may have that strength, but if you look at all of them put together, we are, as I said, very uniquely positioned. So one of it is that, as I mentioned, we have brought out a very investor friendly, very business friendly policy, which subsequently has been emulated by other states also, which is fine. But there are certain features of that policy which still are considered to be very, very far reaching. For example, we brought in a law. See, typically in India, if an investor comes, it could be even a domestic investor, his journey also is more or less the same. That you waste lots of time and effort chasing papers. You want this approval, you want that paper, and you run to this office, you are pushed to that office, and it's a very frustrating experience. And obviously, extortion, rent seeking, all that happens. So we have introduced a law. Let us say you are an investor and you decide to set up a factory in Telangana, and let us say the land is identified for you. It could be a government industrial land, or you could take something privately. The day land is in your hands, the very same day you can start your construction.
Excellent.
No papers are required, no permissions are required, no approvals are required. You just give a self-certificate that you will abide by the laws of the land, and you start your construction.
It's so simple and easy.
Yes. Don't need to ask anyone, wait for anyone. Just give a paper and start. You can hit the ground running. And when you are ready with your, let us say, your commercial production, of course, you require approvals at that stage, which also we have simplified. Everything is online. The government guarantees that it will be delivered to you in 15 days. So these kind of reforms are very special about Telangana. So that is one, what is called ease of doing business today, that we have perfected ease of doing business. The second very important thing is that as a government, this is of course a matter of good fortune. As many of you would know, the state which is called Telangana today, in the olden days was part of Nizam's territory.
Empire, correct.
Nizam's empire, and Nizam was the custodian of all lands. So of course after the Nizamiyat got over, all those lands got transferred to the government. So as a state, we occupy large land banks. Close to 150,000 acres of land are available to us to give it to industries. And these are strategically located. Some are very close to Hyderabad, some are in the districts. In some we can develop food processing industries, in some we can develop textile industries. Some are for high-tech industries like electronics, life sciences, defense and aerospace, IT of course. So this is an advantage, that land, and then the government realized that infrastructure again is something that we really must be on the top of the game. So our government invested in good quality power supply, water supply. We ensured that all this is available to industrialists in a very high quality and in an affordable manner. So this bucket of infrastructure, land, water, power, transportation, access, that is another strength. The third is again something very unique, and we carved it out as our journey was progressing. So ease of doing business is fine, but there is something which adds to the cost of doing business to the companies, and
very
also,
well said,
and also brings down the quality of doing business, which is to find the right set of skilled people
manpower,
and then to make them deploy on your, if you're an IT company, on your IT jobs, if you're a manufacturing companies, on your manufacturing lines. So what we realized that this is also a big hassle for the companies, particularly global companies. So we as a government have set up an institution called TASK, Telangana Academy for Skills and Knowledge, and we guarantee to the investor that, let us say, if you tell us that I require 100 people with these skill sets to start my operations, I will train them at my cost.
Wow!
And make them available to you right on day one when you are starting your operations.
Okay, that's really very
so
interesting.
No other state tells this
I
to
don't
you,
think
that
anybody else.
I will give you, I
the
take
skill
complete
level.
responsibility.
And you train them too, and you find the manpower and provide them.
So the way we structure it is that, let us say you tell me that I require 100 people who must know a particular software.
Correct.
So I will train 500 people, and you select the best 100 out of them.
Wow.
And you don't have to spend even $1 in doing that. Entire money is taken care by the government. For some reason, if you don't like any of those 500, just because I have spent money, I have spent time, you don't require to lower your standards to forcibly take them. You push them aside. I'll train a fresh batch of 500.
My God, these are very far-reaching incentives which no state government gives you.
Exactly.
Please go ahead.
So this is one special thing about Telangana. The fourth important thing is, see, every state in our country today, in India that is today, offers financial incentives to people.
Correct.
Now, to investors that is. So we also do that. Again, I'm not saying that we give the best incentives. If you ask people who are familiar with the country, who understand how incentives are given throughout the country, they will point out that, let us say, Punjab gives more there, Gujarat gives more, Maharashtra gives more here, Tamil Nadu gives more here, which is all acceptable. But again, when you look at the totality of the package that I'm creating for you, we are amongst the best, but we may still not be the best. But what makes us very unique is that there is a flexibility in our policy which is called meet or beat.
Meet or beat.
Yeah, so if there is one investor whose investment, in my opinion, is going to be strategically very important for the state, it will have multiplier effect. Just by showcasing that investment, I can attract 20 more later on. Then if he tells me that I'm getting this offer, let us say from a Gujarat or a Maharashtra or a Karnataka,
you'll meet the...
I'll meet it or beat it. No negotiations. I'll close my eyes and say
wow,
yes.
Wow, this is...
So this kind of agility that you straight away, within minutes you close a deal telling that fine, I'll be happy to meet it, and I'll be helping you with so many other things also. So that is something very special about Telangana. The next important thing is that today the world over we see that innovation is playing a very important role.
Yes,
everything is getting disrupted.
Innovation.
Lots of young entrepreneurs, young innovators, whom we call startups.
Correct.
They are also bringing out some amazing solutions, amazing products. And many companies, regardless of their line of activity, also want to be driven by innovation. The world has shown that if you don't innovate, you will get left
behind.
So Hyderabad has emerged as a very important center for innovation, entrepreneurship. Not to say that there are no other centers. In fact, Bangalore is a far bigger center. There are innovation activities happening in Chennai, in Pune, in Bombay, in Gurgaon, and so many other places in the country. But again, what is very special about Hyderabad is that you get a very easy access to this innovation ecosystem. Let us say you are in a company which manufactures, let us say, some aerospace components, and you want to design something new. You want to work with innovators who are working in similar lines. Within a week, I'll be able to line up 30 best innovators and present them. Wow. Because we have created those kind of structures and processes.
So you have incubator cells for self-starters.
They are very corporate friendly. They work with corporates, they create innovation programs, etc., etc. The last thing which I will tell is that there is a very important sense that our business dealings must be very ethical, must be very transparent. Whatever we promise should be delivered. There should be accountability, monitoring systems, etc. And I feel very proud that over the last 10 years, we have done everything to strengthen this track record. So as I mentioned in the beginning of this long answer, it is not that other states don't do it, but the 6 things that I spoke about, we do it pretty well. And as a totality, everything is happening.
It's a great package, and I don't think any other state offers. I mean, like I said, if you have a piece of land, you're right away into production, and there's all the paper chasing is cut to the core, and then the skilled manpower is a very important. I don't think any other state Chief Secretary Ranjan offers that, and that's what, especially foreign companies coming here, they would like to have the best of the skilled labor, and you're giving that great, it's at the government's expense, and then you're also giving them an incentive, financial incentive in terms of 25% of the investment you're giving them. So that's a great opportunity. Tell us some of the great Forbes 500 companies who are already in place in Telangana state.
So there are a few sectors in which we have made tremendous progress. IT, of course, is a very visible face of Telangana and Hyderabad. And I'm happy to share with you that a large number of American companies have chosen to come to Hyderabad.
Yes.
In fact, one data point will really surprise you. So if you look at which are the most valued tech companies of the world today, I mean, it's a no-brainer, but if you have to really search, you will find that the top 5 companies are all American companies. They're headquartered in the US. They are Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook, which is now called
You got
Meta.
all the top 5
Yeah,
companies
so
right
they are
here.
the 5, but what is very remarkable about them is that each of them, without exception, have their second largest presence anywhere in the world
Here.
after their headquarters in US in Hyderabad.
That's something very enlightening.
Yeah.
You know,
So
what Chief
I'll-
Secretary Ranjan is saying that the top 5, Apple, Microsoft, Google,
Amazon.
and Amazon,
And Meta.
and after their headquarters in United States, the next largest operation anywhere in the world is in Hyderabad.
And it is not 100% technically correct. In fact, I just found out a few months ago that Google has more people in Hyderabad than in Mountain View.
My God.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
I mean, let me kind of give a caveat. So it includes people who are on contract, I mean, who are on contractors' role. But let us put it this way, apart from their own payrolls. But let us put it this way, people for whom Google is vicariously responsible, there are more of them in Hyderabad than in Mountain View.
This is incredible. You just
So,
heard.
and 10 years ago, if I had told someone that Google has a large footprint, Microsoft
Nobody would
has-
believe.
No, even if they believed, their belief would have been that maybe they're doing some low-end kind of job, some BPO, that, you know, some shared services and all. But if you visit any of these offices, for example, if you visit the Amazon office here, you will find that they are doing some very cutting-edge work. Lots of Alexa programming is done out of here.
all the cars.
Google has lots of maps, folks, because Hyderabad is a big source of
GPS.
GIS. So all their maps teams are located here. Many of their language products, translation products. Google in India has a very important payment portal, which is called Google Pay or
Google
GPay.
Pay, yes,
The
yes, we're
entire
very
GPay
familiar.
is located here. So lots of important work happens, lots of product development happens. Apple also has lots of engineering teams here. And if you go beyond this top 5 also, many American companies like Salesforce, largest presence in
Yes.
San Francisco, second largest in Hyderabad.
This is
Uber, largest again in San Francisco, second largest in Hyderabad. Qualcomm, largest in San Diego, second largest in Hyderabad. So we have of the 1500 companies who are located, almost 450 US companies. Of course, apart from these giants, there are also mid-scale
Small
companies, small companies, niche companies. Many companies started in the US by Indian origin promoters. So they are all here. Of late, we have become a very important destination for GCCs. So you need not be a tech company, but obviously every company in the world today uses tech. Till some years ago, that tech was sourced from some of the big IT companies, but many companies now realize that I must have my own captive technology center. India is considered to be a good location to set up these captives. And within India, we are by far the leaders to encourage captives. In fact, some of the biggest banks and financial institutions of the US
are also in
present
Hyderabad.
here. Some of
Wow,
the
that's
biggest
exciting news. What you just
healthcare
given us.
and life sciences companies are present here.
You've also started.
Media and entertainment companies are present
Yeah,
here.
you also, I read recently, you were in the United States and signed an agreement with Walt Disney for their animation
Yes.
center to come to Hyderabad. I mean,
No, not the animation center yet.
Yeah.
Right now, they have set up a tech center,
tech center.
and
okay.
the tech work will be supported from this center. But a full-fledged animation studio is also on the cards. Discussions are going on, but that is not something that we have.
And you're
concluded.
also being the vaccine capital of the world, actually,
Yes.
with Bharat Biotech, and you are also setting up a medical island or a medical district where you can have manufacturing of all medical products. Could you enlighten us, sir, on that?
Yes. So Hyderabad for decades now, for 7 decades to be precise, 6 decades rather, has been the leader in pharmaceuticals and vaccines. We have dedicated industrial parks. Our new government, the Chief Minister and the Industries Minister are very keen that we decentralize it further. So they have directed us to set up pharma villages in 2,000 acres in about 10 locations. in the state. So
very innovative idea,
yeah,
Pharma villages.
and provide all kinds of assistance like pharma industry has a role in contributing to the pollution load. So ensure that the state of the art effluent treatment facilities are there and all kinds of testing, quality control, warehousing, logistics, all these facilities are provided. So that is going to happen much faster in days to come, and we will retain our position as a leading pharmaceutical and vaccines manufacturers for the whole world actually. In fact, you'll be amazed to know that FDA, as you know, if you have to bring any product to the US, FDA has to provide its approval. There are more FDA approved labs, manufacturing centers in Hyderabad, in and around Hyderabad rather, than anywhere else in the world. Even in the US, New Jersey is
I think this is a story which we have to tell the whole world of what Hyderabad is today.
So largest number of FDA approved manufacturing sites. Second, so we have about 250 odd. Second is New Jersey, which has about 197 to be precise.
Wow.
So even the pharmaceutical products which people use in the US, there's a very strong chance that it was manufactured
here. No, most of the thing, even Trulicity, an injection which I use,
yes,
is manufactured here and then sold in the US. It's very, I mean, it's this incredible story of Hyderabad and what you just told us, we have never heard before.
Sure.
And
so I would like to make some concluding remarks to your talk show that we are still hungry and open for business. The journey has not ended. We are not satisfied with what we got. The first 10 years going has been pretty good, but we now want to outperform those 10 years and do even better. So we visit the US pretty frequently. In fact, our Honorable Chief Minister is taking a delegation to the US in August.
Wow.
We'll be there for about a week, spending time between New York, Dallas and San Francisco.
You have not put Chicago on the map.
I mean, we will be coming frequently. So hopefully in the next visit we will touch Chicago. And otherwise also, even when someone is not able to meet us in person, we are just an email away or a text message away. Lots of people of Indian origin have families back in Hyderabad. They keep visiting us. We encourage them to be our ambassadors, spread the good word. And through this talk show also, I hope the listeners who are there would feel impressed about how, as a state, we are kind of pushing the envelope. We are trying to dispel historical notions about India being a difficult place and all that. So
I mean, you just shared with us such an enlightening interview of what going on in Hyderabad, how empowerment, engagement is going on. Chief, could you, if there are 3 people you'd like to take out for dinner from the present or the past, who would those 3 people be?
So, as you know, cricket is the flavor of the day. Our Indian cricket team has done very well. So, one of them for sure would be a cricketer, maybe Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma, just to understand how did they plan this victory, etc. I also have a artistic bent of mind, so I'm very enamored with people who are into theatre, arts, culture.
Very good.
So maybe someone from that stream, maybe Taylor Swift, just to understand how she has got.
Have you seen one of her concerts?
I mean, on YouTube. Not in person. So how does she motivate so many? How is that fandom operating? Also some creative filmmaker. I'm very fond of American movies. One of my favorite, I mean, I have many favorites. One of my favorite is actually there are 2 brothers, Coen brothers.
Yes.
So one of the brothers possibly, or both of them. So
it shows, just now the Chief Secretary Ranjan has shared his creative master strategic brain he is the great part of his talent, apart from his open door policy, which we have seen here, and the transparency is the well known and greatly contributes to the continuing success of the Telangana Industrial Revolution for the first 10 years. And they're going to go to the Telangana Industrial Revolution 2.0. They're not satisfied with the digital transformation, artificial intelligence. They want to be the innovation capital of the world.
Thank you.
And steering this is a very dedicated officer, very creative officer. Thank you for joining us, sir.
My pleasure.
Could you describe yourself in 3 words?
Yes. So I'm glad that you mentioned 3 words, because this is a phrase that I actually use, and I've said so in so many other public interviews and interaction. Count your blessings.
Wow. What a profound statement. And here we are sitting with a genius. in his office, and you've heard how Hyderabad is the crown jewel of innovation and the global capital of innovation, with all the US companies having their base apart from that quarters. The largest base in the world is Hyderabad. It's now their foray into Pharma villages, a new concept by the current chief minister, and this is a story to be told. And the three words, how this wonderful, dedicated, dynamic, phenomenal IAS officer says, count your blessings. Thank you so much, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, for joining us, and
nice
look forward to
you.
seeing you. We'll also have a follow-up for this interview, and it was a wonderful interview, enlightening, and thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Introducing Be Heavenly, where nature meets purity. Our 100% natural virgin cold-pressed oils are a blend of goodness and flavor. From coconut to sunflower, groundnut to sesame, safflower to mustard, we've got your culinary needs covered. Elevate your dishes with the essence of nature. Be heavenly. Taste the difference today.